Hey Union Hill, I am so glad and excited with this video that I'm sharing with you today. You know, the last year has been tremendous. God has blessed us as a church in so many ways. He has called us to be witnesses for His kingdom. He's called us to the task of making disciples. And part of that process is not only what we're going to be doing educationally, what we're going to be doing in our worship, what we have done, staffing and those things, but part of our responsibility is also the stewardship of the physical plant that God has blessed us with. And this past Sunday, the deacons and the long-range planning committee and the staff and some other individuals from other committees have presented to you a plan of renovation. A plan that, because God's faithfulness has already been at work, that we are already setting on a good amount of the funding needed. What we recognize is God has opened this opportunity for us, and I challenge us as a church not to miss what God has in store for us. I truly believe that He has opened this window for such a time as this, for this moment, for us to take a step of faithfulness, to trust Him, to prepare for what lies ahead. And so in this proposal that we gave, we addressed several things. We broke it into 3 phases, and really we would desire that the first 2 phases happen quickly and really in a timely manner, because God is blessing in such a great way. And so let me share those with you. And then at the end, I want to remind you, as I'll say now, that I encourage you to be here Wednesday night, as we're going to have a time of worship, a time of hearing and sharing from passion, as God is opening this opportunity to share with you, to answer questions you may have, because we know they are there, and we want to hear those. And then also a time of prayer together. So I encourage you for that. But let's talk about this moment, this time that God has prepared for us, that I truly believe He's made available. I think when we look at our church plant, we recognize here at our physical plant that God has given us tremendous opportunity, and with that, the responsibility of great stewardship. And so what we're proposing is several things. One of the things, and probably one of the biggest things we are proposing, is the transformation or the renovation of the chapel area. Our hope is to turn that area into a place, yes, that's going to honor the past while moving us into the future. What we would like to do is open that up and to create there a place of welcome. A place where there will be a welcome center, a place where you can get coffee and talk to other believers in Christ, to strengthen one another and grow, a time of fellowship. In there, we'll open up and have pew chairs where we can expand to 100 or down to 50, whatever we need to do for the moment. That way we can have appropriate size room and space for meetings about that size. We want to honor the history by leaving the stained glass windows. We want to go back and recover the original hardwoods. But we want to move forward with some things like the pew chairs, or move forward into the ways of putting some technology at play in there. For instance, having it where it's set up where our service may be streaming live in there on a Sunday morning. So if a parent has a child that they need to take out, maybe they're crying, and it becomes like a cry room as well as our welcome center. It's a place of fellowship, a place of honor, a place to move forward. And so I challenge you to see that and to join us as God's opened this opportunity to renovate that space. You may ask, well, there's Sunday school classes that meet in there. We are already working to have appropriate spaces for those, as well as other classes that have expressed interest or need of different type of situations, and we are working to accommodate those, and we'll be making those things very known very, very soon. We are in the process of that, and so we're honoring those things as well. We are also looking at updating our nursery. Yes, our nursery is new. God has blessed us with it. But there are a few things that we want to address that will help us from a security aspect and a safety aspect. From a security aspect, we want to develop a place where parents will sign in and sign out their kids, and that we are also able to engage with parents without the fear or the concern of a child running out. So we want to do things like create a check-in and check-out window. We want to do things like create all the doors where classrooms are as Dutch doors, so that you can have the bottom closed while speaking to an adult up top. We want to have protocol in which we can lock down areas if we need to for safety purposes. We also want to address the concrete floor. We want to create a floor that is more suitable for preschoolers, that if they are crawling or if they fall is safer. So those are the type of things we want to address in our nursery area. Nothing major, just things that will help us meet the needs of those parents and those families for safety and security reasons. In our gym, we want to add full and capable audio and video. We want to install that so we can use the facility that God's blessed us with in a mighty way. We want to be able to do things like show movies or have events like Disciple Nows in there, or have meetings in there that may be a time of fellowship with food and a service. Use what God has blessed us with and He's allowed us to have. We want to come in there and equip it with equipment to use it. So for instance, we want to have volleyball systems or a pickleball or 9 square in the air or more type things, or we can play kickball or those type of things. So equipping the gym with equipment. Eventually, we want to come into the gym down the road and adjust the flooring again from the concrete to a more suitable flooring that can accommodate both the idea of fellowship and a gym and a safety metric that will help improve the safety there. We want to do things in our sanctuary, just really one thing. We want to change from a projection system to LED walls. And some people say, why? Well, we're moving into a culture where we understand, and technology-wise, that LED walls would provide for us a better video experience there in the sanctuary, placing those lower and having the ability to see those without looking so far up. So being able to see what is happening there before us on the platform area, as well as right above, seeing whatever is needed video-wise. We also recognize that they last about 100,000 hours is what they're rated at. So we're talking about an investment for a long time to help do that. And so we're looking at that and proposing that one small change there. We're excited because we recognize we need more parking. And so we're proposing to expand our parking from our office area down to our bus garage. And then to come back in a second step in just a few short months, hopefully, or something like that, and resurface and redo our current parking lot, as we also are adding more lighting there to help illuminate at night the places in our parking lot and our parking area that can be dark. We are hoping down the road to be able to also do things like equip our gym with more tables and chairs, and possibly even expanding storage there. And so these are the type of things we're looking at as we're talking about renovation. Well, we've made all those available for you in that packet as we are coming to this week. We want to speak with you about it on Wednesday. We want you to hear our hearts about it. And so people ask, why? Well, I truly believe God's opened the door for this. He's blessed us financially where we can begin to address this. And however, the stewardship committee will share with you at the appropriate time. We already have a good portion of what is needed already set aside for such a thing as this. I also firmly believe that if we're not cautious, we sit back and we allow things to get too nostalgic, and we allow them to become museums in which we honor them, absolutely, and remember them, absolutely. But if we're not cautious and not moving them forward, then if we're not careful, we then become a mausoleum. And I truly believe that God's called us not to be a museum, not to be a mausoleum, but He's called us to be a movement of His kingdom. And I believe these renovations will help us impactfully reach the next generation and the current generations for Christ. Will they themselves do it? No, it will still depend on us being the hands and the feet of Jesus. But they are the equipment that can help us maximize that ability. So I encourage you, I ask you to prayerfully consider what God has placed before us. I hope that at the end of this moment, that we look back and all we're able to say is, wow, look at what God has done. So I hope that you will join together in praying for God's wisdom, for His leading, because I truly believe that He has opened this opportunity at this moment for this church to magnify His kingdom for now and for the future. Hope to see you Wednesday night as we talk about this more. I hope to see you Sunday as we come and join together, hopefully in one accord, moving forward as God leads and directs our path. I love you all and so grateful that we serve a mighty God together.